Today, NWO Roadshow and the Food and Business Knowledge Platform organize a learning exchange between research projects of the Global Challenges program and private actors and policymakers from the Food and Business Network. The objective is that those research groups that exist of not only academia but also private actors, having studied inclusive business models for the past 5 years, exchange their ideas with those practitioners and policymakers in order to inspire their practices and policies for the future.
Given that inclusive business, now more referred to as inclusive agribusiness, is still a theme that is on the agenda, but also comes up in a lot of policy debates, also debates outside. And we see that there are quite some assumptions that are guiding it. The assumptions, for instance, that inclusive agribusiness will increase food and nutrition security of the poor and more vulnerable parts of societies that the GCP projects are working in.
The research results of the GCP-1 and 2 projects, they show that technical innovation in the area of food and nutrition security and inclusive business should really proceed hand in hand with social innovation. Rather than striving for perfect sustainability or perfect inclusion, I think we should gear our efforts more towards countering adverse inclusion, countering exclusionary mechanisms, and countering unsustainable practices step by step. Multi-stakeholder platforms at the local level have an important role to play for social learning. Every time we need to rethink the business case for inclusive business from the perspective of the BOP. Their priorities and needs should lead the way. And if we want to diminish the complex trade-offs they are making between a viable business, sustainability, and having a social value, the business case comes first. And with every step we make, we need to recognize that this is of prime interest.
I got to confirm that power dynamics is extremely important when we look at supply chains. It taught me that we have to really look at what market we want to supply, thinking of how we can connect demand and supply in a good way so that stakeholders, especially stakeholders at the bottom of the pyramid, also benefit in a good way and have a say over what they are doing.
There are so many small farmers and we can't approach them all because that's from a commercial point of view. You never get a return on your investment. So we need to understand their systems and to see what ways these farmers can take advantage of our products. And I've been quite, it's such a big challenge that we can't do it alone. I'm consciously looking for cooperations with academia, and I have a lot of cooperations with the technical disciplines, and it's extremely hard to get cooperation with the social sciences. And that's still my challenge, to find it and to bridge this gap.
What I really find important is that if you talk about scaling, because I think all these kind of activities needs to be embedded in a context, that either the logic of the alliance or the composition of the alliance is important, so whom of the involved actors are important and can be important in scaling, or what has been the demand, where is the issue coming from which the researchers have invested into. These kind of elements are hugely important, and I think we as in our department, we could also very much be part of those two elements, either giving our ideas on whom to involve in project proposals, but also to see whether we can be part of the demand for these kind of activities.
What I take back to, let's say, the ministry where I work is the question of, do we fully understand also the political economy that is behind the policy decision making? And that entails really analyzing the power relations between different actors, and it's with a special attention, of course, for the more vulnerable, let's say, more marginalized actors. So we're actually starting on a political economy, some political economy work that we hope will help us to develop better policies and to shape our economic governance dialogue.
I think what I heard this afternoon gives me two messages that I could take home. The one is that inclusive agribusiness is not a concept in itself, because you have to define what is inclusiveness in itself. So inclusiveness is not something that you can achieve to the full. You have to define it depending on local situations you come to. That's one. And the second is that what is throughout all those projects is that you have to focus on local solutions that work on a local level, that work with local organizations, and that will last also in a sustainable way after your interventions are finished.